Hey everybody, and welcome back to Brutally Honest Reviews, only on the Brutally Honest Network. I'm here today with Rob, Taylor, and Sam, and today we are reviewing The Meg. And what The Meg is basically, it's Jaws. No, it's not. So, The Meg is a movie about a giant shark, prehistoric shark, called The Meg. It's a megalodon, and that is pretty much the plot. No, we'll go into the actual plot, but first, it's a Jason Statham action pilot, but we found as we watched it, it's not as basic as the trailer makes it out to be. So, Rob, let's give me your initial thoughts.
This was a fun popcorn movie, just watch it, kind of tune out everything else. Plot's not important, action's fun, stupid things happen, Jason Statham punches a shark. And it was a lot better than it had any business being.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
All right.
My initial thoughts were seeing the preview and covering my eyes and insisting that I was not going to see this movie, and then actually really, really enjoying it. I thought it was, like you said, just a good sit down and zone out, and it was a fun movie, and I didn't cry, so that's something.
I did cry, and multiple times.
Oh yeah, you did cry.
Multiple times. And I love Jason Statham in this, and this movie I came into this movie thinking the trailer paints this movie to be absolutely a straight out ridiculous comedy like Piranha, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's actually a movie. It's actually a really good movie. So that was a shocker. So I don't know what I would say about that whole marketing scheme. We'll talk about that after. I liked it. It was great. Sam.
With Taylor, I was super nervous about seeing this. We were literally messaging each other, what the fuck? Because I don't like the ocean. I don't like it. I don't like large sea creatures. I don't like it. So seeing just the trailer of little Mei-Ling, and she's picking up her little glittery ball thing, and it's just there, and I was my chest was hurting.
Yes.
But it really was actually super fucking enjoyable, and I was I'm going in because I'm gonna see this thing that I'm afraid of in 3D, which I think made it even better actually. I'm actually so surprised how much I liked it. But yeah, no, this is also my first Jason Statham film that I've ever seen. Ever seen. But his voice sounds super familiar.
You haven't seen Crank?
No, I've never seen
Crank
anything
is
he's
so
ever
much
been in.
fun.
I don't know really how to act.
But his voice is
Action star.
amazing.
I can't do it.
I can't process
love
that
it.
you've never seen
Almost sounded
another.
so
Me
South
neither,
African.
because he sounds very familiar. I wonder if he's voiced video game characters. He must have.
Totally. He's totally
He
got
has such a
really
good voice that I it. When I was watching it, I'm I've heard his voice.
Can we Google that real
He's
quick?
in
many
two of
times.
my
What?
favorite
His
movies
other
of all
movies?
time.
No, whether or not Jason
If he
Statham has
voices-
voice acting. Actually, it would be on his IMDb.
It would be if it's there. He's in two of my favorite movies of all time.
Which are?
Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh yeah, those are killer movies. Guy
Both
Ritchie
so
movies.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically plays the same character in both of them, but both movies are so good.
It's not important. He's the angry action star.
Yeah.
That's it.
And in that, he's not even the badass.
I like him in Crank though.
Oh, so
It's
good in Crank.
hilarious.
What would I do?
Go to. It would be voice acting. Maybe it's not on there.
I definitely am gonna Google
Yeah,
that
forget it.
separately.
We'll get
His
back
voice
to you
is,
on that.
Either way, his voice is amazing, and I'm still super surprised how much I liked this.
Yeah.
It was a super easy watch, whatever. Super glad Dwight Schrute's doing great, but
He was good in this.
he was.
was.
There was just every person in that I enjoyed. It was weird. It's been a long time where I didn't find someone where I was fucking hate you the whole time. It was great. I liked it.
How many of you guys saw it in 3D?
I wanted to.
Yeah.
I regret
I
not
did
seeing
not.
it.
3D.
I
Wow.
fully, if you haven't seen it yet, I would suggest seeing it in 3D. It made all the everything in it was a lot cooler, but I think the little whatever thing is. When they took the ship like below the little cloud, like in the beginning, and they just was a lot of. It's all CG, but like all the underwater stuff looks so much cooler in 3D.
Yeah. So I was talking about this for a second. 3D. When they have a 3D movie in theaters, it's done one of two ways. It's either done on set with a special 3D camera, or it's done in post with 3D mapping software. So they'll literally take a 2D shot and think of it almost like a shadow box. Like if you know like what a shadow box is, if you don't at home know what a shadow box is, it's basically just a box where you'd have like a scene, and often they'll do them in school. There'd be a scene, but it'll be 3D, so you'd be looking inside this box and you'd see like bushes out front, maybe like a house in the back, maybe Mike Myers over here with a knife stabbing a kid.
Well, I pictured Austin Powers Mike Myers before you said it with a knife.
No, that's just creepy. That's
That
creepy.
would be even worse.
Yeah.
Hi, bye.
So when they create a 3D movie in post, they basically take a 2D movie and they make it into a shadow box. So they take elements in the scene. For example, in this movie, they took like coral reefs and they'll put it in the front of a room that they build, a 3D room. So like there'll be a flat area, for example, and then they'll move up here, they'll move the coral reef and they'll keep everything else in the background and they'll layer things. So you'll get the impression that everything's in 3D. But where most movies fail in 3D is there's a lot of cheesy 3D in movies. So it's very gimmicky.
Yeah.
And it's always when they don't shoot the movie in 3D, it's always when they shoot it in 2D and do it in post, because they really cheese it up and they really try to sell like here's a chain coming directly at the camera.
Saw 3D.
Yeah, it looks like shit.
Resident Evil did that shit too.
No. But this movie was really good because the way they used the 3D, it really kind of just built the underwater, just the underwater environment.
Yeah.
So like the seahorses and stuff like that.
Still scared the shit
Yeah,
out
I
of
like
me,
it when
but-
they use it to
Thank
pop
you.
the environment in the
Yeah.
backgrounding imagery.
At one point in the movie, it did become like,
Thank you. That fly.
There's a
has
fly
been
in our
making
fucking
me
studio.
crazy.
sorry.
I was just completely ignoring
Keep,
it.
I
like,
thought you were explaining the
brushing it
3D
away.
cameras.
I was ignoring it so hard. I'm like,
3D is
right.
supposed to pop like.
That's what I thought you were doing. Like, oh shit!
Anyway.
It's gonna be hilarious for people who
This
just listen to this and have no idea what's going on.
This episode is shot
In their car, you just hear a clap and their car crashes. Don't
Emphasis
crash.
on the pop.
Be careful.
Say
Just
things
gonna edit
like
this
that.
out of the audio version. Just gonna kill our.
Okay,
all
on the
episodes.
audio version, yeah. Okay.
Moving.
That's fine.
Moving on. So 3D in most movies sucks because they make it gimmicky. In this movie, it enhanced the environment. It was really, really cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
Agreed.
Before I go into the plot, so let's talk about this cast a little bit. We got Jason Statham in the lead role. Really kind of just playing an action star. He actually does have like a legitimate backstory, and I actually do see like acting talent in him in this movie, which
Only in this one.
Well, he's not
It's-
a bad actor.
I don't think he's
He's
a bad
not.
actor.
I
at
don't
all.
think he's that bad.
he's like he's a victim of his.
Is he the same
voice.
type in all of
voice
his?
and appearance.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But I feel like even though he was like tough guy, like this is why I don't do this anymore type shit, like he was still like, I liked his sarcasm in it. Like he wasn't like someone I was like, all right, bitch, like relax. Like he still tried to like
He wasn't the,
make relationships with people and wasn't like I'm a lone wolf type thing, even though that's kind of like how he was in the beginning, I guess. And he's like, I don't do this
Yeah.
anymore.
They didn't,
I actually really liked him in this.
they didn't
I
really
did.
paint him as like the Jason Statham in other movies. You haven't seen the other movies, but
No,
like,
but I can only
But I don't
imagine the
understand.
type of character
totally
that he is.
action star. Like
Yeah.
in other movies, like in Crank, he rewrites the plot as it happens. But this movie, he was very real and grounded and very vulnerable. You know, he was vulnerable. He could have died
Yeah,
many times.
yeah.
Until there was at the end, they totally gave us. They were like, "All right, we got this far. We're gonna give him some Jason Statham."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you leaned
Yeah.
over and said that. He was like, now it's a Jason Statham
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. They were like, "All right." as time.
Yeah.
Like, or Jason Statham was like, I'm not doing another scene unless I get to punch the shark.
So happy that happened.
All right.
So, so let's go into the plot. So we start the movie, and we see Jason Statham in a submarine that's getting attacked, or something's happening. The sub is basically imploding on itself. They don't really make it clear, but their submarine that he's in is imploding, and everybody's escaping to another sub. Everybody's escaped except for Jason Statham's. What's his character's name? Jonas. So Jonas is Jason Statham's character name. Jonas escapes into the other rescue sub with all of the other members of the crew except for his two best friends, which he can either go back in and try to save them, but he knows he's gonna die if he does that. So he ends up having to make the hard choice, and he has to seal them in, and they die. Jason Statham survives, and he has to live on through it. And he does this by living out his days above a bar in Thailand, being just a really funny drunk.
He's the best. I love it.
So
happy drunk too.
When he first comes
He's a
out in
great
his
drunk.
Thailand Komodo, I'm like, that's hilarious.
It's so great. It's so great.
Yeah. So before we actually see him in Thailand, we come back to the present day where Jason Statham's not in the picture. We're on this base called Mana 1, which is a research facility with 5 different sectors. And basically what that facility is trying to research is whether or not the bottom of the Mariana Trench is actually the bottom of the ocean, or if there's actually a thermal... What do they call it?
Yeah, they just call it like a thermal cloud.
Thermal cloud.
Thermal
Yeah,
cloud.
they called it like a cloud. Yeah.
Yeah.
For us idiots, it's probably more. It's probably more.
Scientific.
It
Yeah.
has a fancy name.
Yeah,
like
sure.
the. I'm not even gonna go into it right now.
Don't know enough science words.
So the thermal cloud is as advanced as we'll get here. They're trying to figure out if the thermal cloud is actually not the bottom of the ocean, and there might be a deeper realm of the ocean where there are undiscovered, undocumented creatures, plant life, etc. Maybe the cure for AIDS. I don't know. Maybe even the thing.
I don't think that was ever stated.
There could be things down there, so they're researching them, and we meet the cast, who consists of Suyin, who is the daughter of the head researcher Zhang. I'm not even gonna bother with the names. They're not known actors yet, but Zhang is played by Winston Chow, and Suyin is played by Bing Bing Lee. I'm not familiar. They might be bigger overseas. I just don't know them. So we meet these researchers. We meet the other members of the crew, who's kind of like a fun bunch of cast. We meet the Wall, who's this big John Goodman like hairy character.
Love him.
He was awesome. We meet Finnish?
No, yeah, he's Finnish. Look at that name.
We
Not
meet
even gonna try to
Toshi.
pronounce that.
Toshi is played by Masi Oka, who I actually know him. He's in Heroes.
Yeah.
He plays another fun character. And then we also meet the stereotypic black character. No offense.
No, he was.
He wasn't, but he wasn't that bad.
I don't think
No,
He was fun.
no, he wasn't
He was
bad,
fun.
but he was
Yeah.
Yeah.
stereotypical for sure.
That's played by Paige Kennedy. His name was DJ. And then we have Heller, which is played by Robert Taylor.
Asshole
Dick.
He's
doctor.
the asshole doctor.
Still didn't hate him though. Like he
Yeah.
was great.
I don't think anyone was
He
really
redeemed
hateable.
himself.
Yeah,
I
he
hated him
did.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
Lori, which is played by Jessica McNamee. Lori is an ex of Jason Statham, who happens to be on this research mission. He's not involved, but he gets involved later.
Yeah.
And then we have Jax, who's a tatted up technician who's in charge of basically everything, of the logistics of everything going on in the sub base, played by Ruby Rose.
99% the reason I went to go see this is like, she's in it, it's fine. I'll be fine.
It's fine.
She's good, and she is good in Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, I liked her in this. Like, I feel like
She wasn't bad.
she wasn't like bad, but it wasn't like super memorable, but like I loved her character. I loved all these. I'm gonna say that a million times, but I loved like everybody in their parts.
And lastly, rounding out the cast, we have Mac, who is a friend of Jason Statham and another researcher at the base, and that's played by Cliff Curtis. And then last that we meet so far is Mei Ying, who is played by an awesome new actress, Shuya Sophia Kai.
Oh,
And
she was great.
she was the daughter of Bing Lee, Su Yin, the daughter of Su Yin in this, and she was such a smart little girl character, like 5 years old. She was just super cute, and all of her lines,
her lines were great.
Little wise ass.
She was so funny.
She was the best part of the movie.
She was great.
She was fantastic. So we meet all these people at the base, and then we first meet the douchey funder of this scientific endeavor, Dwight Schrute from The Office, or Rainn Wilson, whose character is Morris. And we first meet him when we see his Nikes hit the helicopter tarmac. Yeah. And he comes out, and immediately he's just this really over-the-top, stupid character. Fun, like he was still very fun. Like he did a great job in this film.
Yeah.
I thought there was a really good balance of when they paint a character who's supposed to be like an evil, money first type character. They usually paint them completely at that end of the spectrum. But like in this film, I felt like they painted Rainn Wilson's character Morris as a really he's not like a fake person. It's hard to really explain, but when he gets on the scene, like he is business. He does have a heart. We do find like he is still an asshole.
Yeah,
like, he still does shitty things. Yeah, but he does them as a real smart asshole would do behind the back of the entire scientific team.
No, I completely agree. Completely.
So very realistic. But like you don't see that a lot. You see the other end of the spectrum. It's almost like people don't understand how to write characters like that.
I was waiting for him at some. Well, first of all, I was like also finishing up The Office for like the millionth time. So like, I watched that and then saw this and I was like, oh, I cannot unsee Dwight. But at the same time, like I was waiting for him to just be like that stereotypical douchey wealthy guy. Like he'll say things like here or there, like, well, I'm paying for this, but like still he wasn't like too much of anything.
He was
like,
he was very friendly.
Yeah.
It was a very realistic sense of self-worth that he had.
Yeah.
Like it was he was grounded and he knew how pathetic he was, but he really tried hard to be this outwardly optimistic and over the top cool guy.
Yeah.
The whole film.
Yeah.
I thought it was realistic.
For sure. So
we meet that group. Dwight Schrute comes in and starts taking a look at what's going on at the operations. First time on the base. The crew wants to prepare something special for him. So they are showing him the first exploration below the thermal cloud. Mm-hmm. So Lori and the team, Lori, the Wall, Toshi are all in the Explorer. Is it the sub that they take?
Oh God, they all have names.
We're just gonna skip the names.
Yeah, they were all cool as shit though.
They're cool, very sub-like names.
Yeah, for sure.
So they take the sub below the thermal cloud. Everything seems cool. Everybody's super excited. Like this is history in the making. And then quickly, but very properly in terms of filmmaking, we find out something's up. Something hit them. Yeah. They don't reveal the shot. They don't reveal what is the megalodon. Obviously, they don't reveal the meg too early. Mm-hmm. They which I watched it. I saw this movie twice. So the first time I went in, I saw it in 3D, loved it. Second time I went in, when I saw it in 2D, I was really looking for the way they crafted the movie, like as a filmmaker, just to see. Obviously, like to get a budget this big would be a fucking dream, but like looking at the movie, just seeing like what their choices were story wise, because honestly, best put together movie I've seen all year, and I know that's saying much, but anyway, they go below the thermal cloud, something hits them, they end up on the bottom of the ocean, the sub is stranded, they see that their rover has been destroyed by something, and they are hit again just as they get their power back online. And once they get their power back online, they get hit. Lori ends up falling on what looks like a really disgusting looking like hex screwdriver.
Yeah.
Like that's a disgusting
Bad way to
wound.
go.
It's definitely dirty.
I'm upset they didn't spend more time on that in terms of like, I feel like that's a pretty major
it looks.
wound, and that no, like I feel like just the injury in general, and then jumping ahead a little bit when they pulled her out, and it was just
like,
yeah, it was like, all right, you're
sure.
gonna go to the hospital now, and you're fine. I was like, why didn't you focus a little? Like I feel like there's so many things that were set up to be more dramatic than they were, and I'm not complaining about that because this was like a really great movie. But in my head, I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be like she gonna die. This is gonna be what's gonna get him to like come here, and it just wasn't it.
Stepping back a little bit, because you're a horror special effects makeup artist.
Yeah.
Horror, not horror.
Horror special. I'm a horror artist.
You only do makeup on horrors.
Yeah.
Not true. So you do horror special effects makeup, and
It's a scary
I
movie.
totally thought you could have done a way better job with the first wound we saw in the movie, which was like 2 minutes in. We see the wound of it's his crew member.
Oh yeah,
You see
yeah,
his
yeah.
wound. It looked like absolute shit.
Yeah.
It looked like red skid marks.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
when he was like on his original mission that he had to
Yeah,
let his
and
friends
everyone's
die.
just like effed up.
Right.
Yeah,
But you
could've-
can tell it's just someone walked up and with like a thing of blood and was like, "Go."
It looked like someone put a piece of beef jerky in his leg.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it didn't
Yeah.
look real. And they
Well, the
they were
whole
like,
budget went to all the CG, so
it's weird though because they put the camera right up to it. Like
I know.
they were hoping
proud
on
of
like
it.
the chaos and the darkness and everything going on that no one would really. Because most people like, I'll watch something and I'll point out everything wrong. I'll be like, that's the wrong color. That's too big. Like stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
And someone will be like, I thought that was legit, and I'll be like, well, you don't know anything, so go away.
Yeah.
So it's purely for like the general audience who doesn't like do that. They have no
Right.
idea. But like, yeah, no, for me, I'm like, interesting. But I was so focused on that fucking screwdriver because I'm like, I need to know how they got it to just stay in her the whole time because that's actually super hard to do.
Oh, that? Well,
Yeah.
you gotta realize that they have all the budget in the world.
Oh no, yeah, but I'm just like,
They
which is why I'm upset they didn't focus on that wound so much more. I'm like, I want to see her like pull it out or some shit. Like, I don't know.
Like,
They didn't. They're just like, you fell on a screwdriver. They focused more on his beef jerky leg than they did on her being impaled by a fucking screwdriver. And then they just like put a bunch of like bandages and was like, oh, like rest. Like,
yeah, that was so weird.
I'm
They
like,
were, like in a
she's
circle,
gonna bleed
too.
out. Like, what do you mean? And they're like underwater. It's like pressures. Fuck it. I don't know. That.
in actuality, like this is just like a note thing. I think I know how they had that stay in her.
Oh no,
They
I
have
do too.
they did like a body, like something goes around their body.
Yeah,
right?
they build a whole, it's a whole like platform that sits there, but they have
Yeah.
to make the whole fake screwdriver light enough that it sits there, but also doesn't like flop around and
Yeah.
look like a thing.
Flopper.
You
Well,
know?
they probably just built it right into like a solid cast and had her wear
Probably.
it. You know, like because they can just do whatever they want.
Dream to do that
Seriously,
shit.
give us money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could do
now.
that.
That was our sales pitch.
That's not for our
Give us
podcast. I'm just mean like give us like not you guys, but like you
you
guys. I'm just kidding. Don't give us money,
The general
but do.
public.
Um,
But yeah, so bitch gets impaled.
Bitch
Yes.
gets impaled. They're stranded at the bottom of the submarine.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, what's his name? Jason Statham is over in Thailand drinking his ass off
Living the life.
underneath the bar.
Yeah, he's living the dream.
we see him come out to like his I guess maybe his friend or his partner in business who's taking his boat back, telling him his boat's a piece of shit. You're drunk. It's funny, like very stereotypical of Jason Statham lines, like dialogue there. It was fun. We see the
Cliff, Mac, and
well, they go after. So this is after. So they have a meeting at the sub base first.
Yeah.
And they talk about there's only one guy who's ever rescued someone at that depth before who's survived, and that's Jason Statham and Jonas. And it's kind of a moral quandary for Dr. Heller and even Mac and even all of them at the sub base are kind of like iffy on whether or not they should go get Jason Statham because he was diagnosed with what was it? Something pressurized.
It was something.
They diagnosed him with something pressure-induced. I'm onto something now.
It was. I don't remember
psychosis.
what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
He's
it's
got
something
it.
like mentally, but I don't want to say the wrong thing and sound like an idiot. But didn't like that doctor tell him he had that too? He
Yeah.
was like, that's
Yes.
why.
Yeah, but
The
it was,
reason
that's
our
where
friends
their
are
bad
dead.
blood comes from.
that was a little fishy. Like why they gave him that title after that. It was like a little bit fucked up. But like I could see it happening.
Yeah, like I can understand like people will get angry if anyone dies, but like it is hard to be like I had to sacrifice some to save all, or else we all would have died anyway. And it's like that kind of predicament. You know, you'll get people on both sides who are like you did what you had to do, and then people like fucking Heller who are like you are crazy and like nothing was under there and this was you having a meltdown and because of that these two guys are dead.
It was maybe because like in later in the movie we see footage of him interacting with like the detectives asking him what happened and he actually gets physical. So it's definitely something that he brought on himself, but at the same time like he lost his two best friends.
Right.
So he's like so like emotionally
Processing
fucked
that.
up. Like this is a person that they literally that their entire job, like the entire thing they set out to do in life was be someone who works with submarines and researching, and that's taken away from them because of an accident, and then he's blamed for it. So like that's why he's basically drinking his ass off in a Thailand bar.
Yes.
So they have this meeting
With that really good Hey Mickey fucking
Oh,
Taiwanese cover of it. That was fucking great.
Oh, Hey Mickey.
Yeah,
that was-
that was-
I had
yeah.
that stuck in my head for
That
at least
was
a
some
day
good
after
shit.
that.
I was like, shut up. They made like another. It was great.
I'm
That
sure there
was
are a lot
great.
of
There's just so
versions.
much great about this movie. Continue.
So back at Mana 1, they're having a meeting because the crew that they sent to go below the thermal cloud is trapped at the bottom. They don't know where the Meg is, but he's not being attracted because they have no power, so there's no light being drawn to it. That's a big thing in the film. They have a meeting between Mac, Dr. Heller, and Zhang, and they talk about getting Jason Statham involved. Then they actually fly out to Thailand. They meet with him. Mac has a reunion with Jason Statham's character, Jonas. Is kind of like a very positive atmosphere until they mention why they're there, and they're there to try to get him to dive again. He tells him, I don't do that anymore. He won't do it, blah, blah, blah. And then they mention that his ex-wife is involved and that they're in dire straits. So he agrees to do it.
Yep.
He flies out to the sub base. They are introduced to. So Jason Statham, Jonas' character, meets Suyin, and you can kind of see like during the movie you see kind of like a relationship kind of blossoming between them.
So precious.
It was super subtle though. Which
They had
I
a good
also
dynamic.
I like.
It was
Yeah,
very
they
good.
didn't rush into
Yeah,
that
no, it was
relationship at all.
Because at first she didn't like him that much because the doctor was telling her like, he's the reason two people are dead. Like he's not stable because the first time they went down, like she like yelled at him and was like, "You're da 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 da," and he's like, "You don't know me, bitch," and it was so like it was great. Yeah, no,
Direct quote.
yeah, I loved it.
So they immediately send Jason Statham. Well, first of all, Jason Statham has some awesome some really cute interactions with the little girl.
Yeah.
He really does.
Miying, who there's a couple scenes, and there's one scene where she asks him to promise to bring his mom her mom back,
Yep.
and that scene was just really cute. I just can't express like enough like how good of an actress that little
was
girl
amazing.
is.
Yeah, no, she was great.
Like she has such a bright future. Like she was so good, and it was like her character. Like she was smart. She was funny. She was cute. It was amazing. She should get an award for this in some way. I don't even know what award she would get.
no,
but
Something.
yeah, for sure.
I haven't. You don't see a lot of child actors that are that good.
that aren't being too like campy in their roles, depending on what it is. Because there's some that are like they play the terrifying one, or just shit like that. I mean, like besides, well, no, she was younger. Cause I was gonna say like besides like the new It cast, they were all pretty good in their parts. Like she was younger than them, so like for someone her age, I feel like
incredible.
I feel like she was great.
Incredible.
She's really good interacting with like adults.
Yeah.
Right, because she was smart.
Like she knew how to like use the
knew
shit
what
in
was
there.
going
She was
on.
like, "That's what it is. Flip
Yeah.
this switch." I was like,
Or when
"Ooh, all right."
when she says like, however old she is, 5-year-olds hear everything.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yep,
And
yep.
she's like, I love that.
Yep.
So Jason Statham, they immediately send him right into the they call it like a floater or something like that, or
A floater? I don't think that's what it was.
the ship that they take
The
down
little
there. Glider.
Glider. Yeah. I was like, it's something.
Close enough. Float glide.
Yeah.
Same diff.
He
some
takes the
letters.
glider down, but he gets in the glider and the little girl's like operating the ship because her mother actually already went down to try to rescue. She's already below the thermal cloud underneath. She took a glider out to try to rescue the crew under completely against her father's wishes. Jason Statham is trying to go basically save them as well. The little girl asks Jason Statham, "Please bring back my mom." And Jason Statham kind of hesitates before he goes. He dives down because he's kind of hesitating because he doesn't dive anymore. Like you said, the reason why he doesn't do this is specifically because he fears being in charge of other people's lives.
It made him feel more human that way instead of like, let's fucking do this. Like you
Right.
saw, like they were like, Jonas, you can go now, and he's just like panic, but like still he still did it. I loved.
I like that.
I'm
he
gonna
was
shut
real.
up so I can stop saying I loved this because like everyone
It was
just
so good.
It was just everyone was written well and performed their parts well.
Right.
In terms, like I just feel like everyone was just so well balanced in like who they were supposed to be.
Like Jason Statham is usually like you said, like as a character that like regardless is like, let's do this.
Yeah, kicks indoors and gets shit done. But
Yeah.
like, here a lot of times he's like, I know I need to do this, but like you saw his hesitation
Right.
with things, and I'm like, all right, yeah, like
Yeah,
I can-
every single thing. Even like later, we'll talk about that later. But like,
Yeah.
at one point in the movie, he's swimming out, and he's saying, "Let just keep swimming."
Yeah, and
That was
It was,
awesome.
calling back Finding Nemo,
Yeah.
Dory and Finding
that
Nemo.
was great.
It the way it was just like it was like the perfect level of like, I have to do this, but I'm fucking
But I'm
nervous.
terrified. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
there's a megalodon swimming in circles around you. You'd probably be a little nervous too.
Yeah.
The thought of that just
No, I can't think about it.
cringy.
So he takes the glider down under the thermal cloud. The crew's getting nervous because he's going too fast and his pressure is going crazy. His gases are all off the charts.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's literally what
I
it
know.
was.
Because they're like, he's gonna black out, and I'm like, wait, like black out, like pass out, or like black out, and then his monitors went off, and I was like, oh.
Tell Heller I'm not slowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. He was like a really good hateable character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Heller.
He did redeem himself too, so
He did.
I didn't end up hating him at the end.
Yeah.
He was like it was perfect casting too. He was like It was like the way he acted that part is like the right level of like intelligent but naive. Like so like he was smart enough to think that to be convinced that Jason Statham was actually under a psychosis.
Yeah.
But he was also naive enough to realize that when he was wrong.
Right.
Realize when he may have judged too quickly.
Right, and he apologized as soon as it was established, like, oh, he's not crazy.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
apologized to him, and I thought that was like a good redeeming moment for him.
Yeah, I hate when movies paint, and I can't remember an example right now, but I hate when movies paint someone as like science is always right. People aren't like that. People are not like that. Like people are real. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Like there's no scientist who is just science is always right. Like there's always going to be a human being in there going, well, what if I die?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth. Like they always paint these characters in movies like this. They'll paint scientists as strictly scientists,
And they're like hella stubborn.
Yeah,
It's like
and
you could show me a million things and you're still wrong.
right. But they have no moral or any kind of like they never have to speak up for themselves as human beings. They're just they're characters. They're literally just characters and not real people. And they do that a lot. But this movie, they painted everyone real. Everything was genuine.
Yeah.
I cried several times, which is weird because like we'll talk about this later. But the trailer is absolutely nothing like the film.
I thought it was gonna be way more serious than it was. So when all these like funny little like lines are coming out, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was.
They put the trailer
We
out.
thought it was going to be corny.
Yeah.
Like, worse.
I was
than
just
the
more
other
terrified of deep sea, and I was like, "This is gonna suck for me." But I thought.
These filmmakers took this movie, which could have been a schlockfest, and they said fuck the stereotypes, fuck money. We're gonna make a damn good movie, and I'm guarantee you, like the producers they just cut all the Jason Statham action sequences for the trailer because like that's what
Just to get
sells.
people to watch
Yeah,
it
it seemed like they
Yeah.
did that for the trailer.
Yeah.
Definitely put them all together.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
it's
not
everything.
upset about that because his character in general was just great. So like, if that got people in there, then like solid because
I'm
they probably.
upset.
Well.
The reason why I'm upset is
Well,
because
shit.
I like
Your
intelligent
face.
movies. So like when I saw the trailer, I was like, I guess I'll see this. And then I saw it and I'm like, wow, this is one
Oh, yeah, you
one
did
of,
that.
if not the best movie I've seen all year.
It was a lot
Yeah.
deeper than the trailers made it out to
Right.
be.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This was a pleasant surprise. Put it that way.
So back to the actual plot as we keep lauding the movie
We're
as a whole.
so in the beginning still. It's hilarious.
We are.
In the first
It's
15
okay.
minutes.
We are.
Yeah.
So they get under the thermal
Wow,
cloud.
you're right.
Yep.
Jason Statham is able to finally convince the headstrong Soo-Yin to go back up to her daughter. I got this shit. He goes down there. He hooks up to the sub in a non-sexual way.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
felt like it needed to be.
Yeah.
you know.
No, they.
Sure.
Well, you watch Crank, so you know.
Right.
But anyway, so he hooks up to the sub in a non-sexual way, and then he opens the hatch. He sees that their little circular thing hatch, I don't know what you call it,
Yeah.
a hatch.
pressure hatch,
That's the
It's a
right
hatch.
is busted. So he takes some tools. He saws off the thing. It looks way simpler, kind of like Legos at that point.
Yeah.
So then he kind of just takes a screwdriver, and then instead of screwing it off, he just knocks and they just open it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand science. So he saved the day. They pull all the characters. They pull the wall out. They pull Lori out, but then all of a sudden the shark comes back. Megalodon comes back, and Toshi, who wrote a letter to his wife,
Oh.
pops it in the
Toshi.
wall's pocket. Everybody cried.
This had me
And-
distraught.
It was sad.
And then Toshi gets destroyed as he screams something Asian.
Yeah. Toshi was a hard death for me to handle.
He
He
just
laughing.
screamed.
That's racist.
No, he said something. Yeah, no, he did. I don't know
did
what
say
it was,
something.
but he did say something.
They didn't subtitle it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it was.
That was weird.
He just screamed.
That's not racist. They didn't explain what it was. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, I get it. But just like hearing him, like they didn't subtitle it. Like that would have been so stereotypically like hilarious. But
I'm glad they didn't subtitle it though, because like
It's probably just fuck.
we got the
Probably.
picture.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
we understood what was going on.
Toshi's death was rough.
So Toshi got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Boom.
Everybody's sad
Mm-hmm.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
For a little.
Yeah.
They go back up. They escape. Both subs, both gliders escape through the thermal cloud. They go back up. They talk about things in the office that are going on, and at the same time, what's her name? The daughter?
Mei Ying or
Mei Ying.
the little one or the
Sophia.
older one?
Was
Mei
she?
Ying.
Wasn't her
Mei Ying
name?
is her name.
Mei Ying.
She went by Mei Ying in the
Yeah.
movie.
Her mom just called her May a couple times, but
Because it says as in IMDb, it says as Sophia Cal.
I think
I think that's
the
just
actress's name.
yeah.
That's what she's
Oh,
credited
okay.
as.
She doesn't probably go by Shuya.
Oh, okay. So she goes. So this actress goes by Sophia Kai instead of the full name Shuya
Yeah.
Sophia Kai.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Mei Ying, which is her character name in the movie. What were we talking about? Mei Ying?
When they came back, that's when she was like, "Thanks for keeping your promise."
Right.
Oh, right,
all
right.
that shit. But
But
like
then
Su
Mom
Yin's
was
like, "Fuck
pissed.
yourself." Like
Right.
if it wasn't for you, like Toshi would still be here. Nah, nah, nah,
That
because
was a
she
little
has
weird.
Yeah, she's
she
still,
has the mentality that
Heller has.
fucking dumbass
Still hating on him a
doctor
little
put.
bit.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm
yeah.
glad that her thoughts of him changed when he was like, "I'm not crazy. Shit's going on. I'm here to help you. Like you called me. Like
Yeah.
you know."
Right.
Carrying over from our previous podcast from Black Klansman is another psychology kind of thing there. Like where she probably has been instilled this information passed down from her father, from this man too, because she hasn't worked with this man, but she knows
No.
of him from
reputation.
her father, his father,
Yeah.
her father.
In a negative sort of way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Mei Ying goes down under the deck while they are talking about the rescue upstairs in the offices. She's using a really cool iPad controlled ball toy that lights up and rolls along the floor. So the ball's rolling down the floor as she's walking around this base, all by herself. Nothing but the ocean outside.
Creepy.
Yeah. No.
She goes
I
to-
hated,
So
hated
creepy.
them.
She goes through this section that, even though it didn't mean anything, it kind of made me tense a little bit when she went past the construction area.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
even though it wasn't really like unfinished construction,
Yeah. It was just blocked off. Shit.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh.
it made me feel tense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we finally get to a point where the ball ends up hitting clothes or something that are or construction stuff, painting stuff laying on the floor, and she goes down to pick the ball up. When she picks it up, we see the megalodon right outside of the glass walls of the
I can
observatory.
like see it
That's
in my
the
mind
exact
right now,
scene
and
in the
my
trailer.
chest feels tight.
Yeah. My chest got so tight. I was like, I hate the ocean. Like I
Oh,
I
I
hate
can't think about it.
So the megalodon bites the
Surprise.
glass right in front of her, and she screams. They realize that she's down there. Everybody panics and they run and get her. They see the bite marks and they realize that the Meg has come up.
I just remember the super depressing thing that happened because as they're in there, in the beginning, they made a huge thing about like showing a mommy whale and her calf.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the baby's just like knocking its face against the glass, and they're like, "Where's the mom?" And all of a sudden, the Meg just fucking chomps it in half, and I was
Yeah,
like,
That
was
was
brutal.
so
"Oh,
sad.
they had so many like."
That was brutal.
I
That
forgot
whale
about
still
Mother
has
that.
Nature
chance.
is a bitch, but like,
That was
I'm
that
so
was
sad
fucking
about it.
brutal.
I guess I was like, the baby is so stressed, and then
Gone.
And then it was
yeah,
That was
no.
sad. Yeah.
Like as it happened so fast in my brain, I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna!" And then it did, and I was like, I was so that was a tear jerking moment. Like it was a CGI'd whale, and I was still like, "No."
Yeah, even though this movie was CGI though, like it's still like it wasn't like a CGI in my face kind of.
It
Yeah,
didn't
no, I
bother
feel
me.
like
It
because it
didn't
was like
feel fake.
underwater CGI, like it worked for it.
Yeah, it didn't feel fake to me.
Like
and
there's
I
a
don't
lot of
like that.
CG where I'm like, ew,
You
but
know what
these
I-
were like pretty.
You know what I think it
pretty
was?
okay.
I think the CGI was genuinely not great, but because the movie was so
think
damn
isn't
good, we didn't care.
Because the 3D made the CG so much better.
It did.
And I think if I saw it just like how it is, it would have been like, oh, it's fake ocean. But because like I saw it in 3D, I was like, this is fucking great.
I thought the ocean, like the ocean underneath, like when they were going down with the glider, was super beautiful in 3D.
Yeah.
But because it was super dark,
I was
so it
stressed,
wasn't
but
like
it was
things
cool.
were thrown at us. It was
Yeah.
kind of like,
And they like dropped the lights in like random
oh,
parts.
that was sick. Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
yeah.
This is like super fake, but they did this like pretty. I'm not mad about it.
yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was great. I think everything about this is fucking great for the 50th time. Take a shot for every single time you hear me say, I love this or this is great. Shit faced already.
We'll never get to the podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So where we're at right now is they figure out that so they figure out that the thermal plane, it's because of the temperature of the thermal plane. When the gliders came up through the thermal plane,
Yeah.
they created a higher temperature, which allowed the sharks to be able to figure out that they can live and swim through that area where normally, like the thermal plane being presumably, I don't know if the thermal plane's a real thing or not, or if it's just manufactured.
No.
But presumably the thermal plane is super cold. So sharks being blind and really just being driven by light, which is a big theme in this movie, would not realize that they can swim that way.
Yeah.
Because it's so cold, it really, for them, it just feels like it's literally a wall of death.
Well, they wouldn't be able to survive it.
Yeah.
I think it was
No.
supposed to be like below freezing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
cold.
So they know instinctively, like, we can't go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when the gliders go through, the sharks chasing the gliders maybe, or even just like in general, just swimming and realize they're not dying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh man.
shark apostrophe, well not apostrophe, shark parentheses S, shark or
Spoiler.
sharks, I mean, come through the thermal.
Megalodon.
Yeah. The Meg.
The
Do you get it?
megalodon.
There's more than one shark.
Maybe. Probably shouldn't have
Spoiled
spoiled that
it.
so early, but we've already spoiled.
It's fine.
Spoiled.
It's
Come
fine.
on.
I'm sad now.
I didn't get that at first. Like, I was like, wait, there's two? Like, when I saw it.
Oh, I didn't get that at first either.
So I was like, oh, shit.
There's one.
There's
There's only one.
there's another.
So there's one
I
megalodon.
have so many questions. Because there was two sharks.
Yeah.
But only one of them was the Meg, and
No.
the other one was just a giant shark? Or
No.
was
They're
one just a
both Megs.
smaller
They
Meg?
were-
One was a
Totally
baby
both.
Meg.
It was a
Okay.
baby
Yeah.
Meg.
Okay. Big.
Still
Meg.
big.
Yeah, because they're ugly as shit.
Yeah.
Like if you look at their skin, it's ugly
What?
as shit.
I thought the, like, blown up. Oh, well, it was a whale.
Well, you see all the other sharks.
They don't moisturize.
Oh yeah.
They don't moisturize.
Salt water. It's rough on the
They
skin.
don't get moisturized for that deep thermal plane.
Yeah. Close their pores right up with how
No
cold it is.
Embargo Act of 1977.
So the Meg is a
So
thing.
back to the movie.
Yeah.
It's here.
That'd be a
It's
good
present.
idea.
It's snatching baby whales.
Mhm.
It's here.
So he's here. The first thing they do then is they go, we gotta go get this shark. We can't let this survive. So in Jaws fashion, which I got a huge kick out of, they take a fishing boat out, and the whole crew's boat in a fishing boat. We hear objections immediately from DJ.
Yeah.
Being the
so
stereotypical
funny.
character.
Oh, he was great.
He was awesome. So they take this boat, the fishing boat out to try to catch the shark. The first thing they do, and I'm not even going to go into the fact that how are they finding this shark? Like,
Because they shot
Trail
it with the
of-
locator thing.
That was
yeah,
after.
how do
They're
they find
following
it
the
first?
trail of death.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
Oh, they saw
destroyed
the
boats.
Yeah, the
Also,
destroyed
it's
boats.
fucking huge.
Well-
I feel like, I mean, they do say it like swims super fast, but if it knows where shit is, because yeah, they did find that the whaling boat that was
Yeah.
like all these
Torn
sharks
up.
don't have fins. They were like, oh, for a bowl of soup. And I was like, damn, because that shit actually happens.
Right.
And then
It's
at
messed
that
up.
point, I was like rooting for the Meg. I was like, yeah, fuck him up. And then, you know.
So that's how they found him.
Always root for the
Yeah.
animal.
They see a bunch of fishing boats on their GPS that are basically not responding.
Mm-hmm.
They go check it out. They find all of the boats basically destroyed. The sharks with the no fins.
I liked the arm they pulled out.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
pulled out the arm. It looks like they got revenge or something like
Yeah.
that. Some line like that. He
I was
pulls
like,
out the
that was
arm.
good. That was good. I approve.
So then the shark is presumed in the area, which is maybe a little bit unbelievable, but it's a movie called The Meg starring Jason Statham, so give us so they assess that, this isn't like this is actually a real thing. They assess that the only way to be able to get the GPS tracker on the shark to get close enough would be to actually swim out into the water and shoot a
Spear gun.
shoot a poison dart in him to make him die.
Which
Or-
Dwight Schrute suggested, because they're like, how are we going to get him? He's like, don't you guys watch Shark Week? And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
good one. They're like, put a tracker on him. And they were like, oh.
That
Yeah, you're
bothered me
right.
at first, but then I realized, like, just because he said something doesn't mean that wasn't what they were going to say next.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because they were, I feel like they were like trying to avoid that because you had to get right up
Close
on that
to it,
shit.
yeah.
And then he was like, why don't you just track it? And we're like, all right,
Yeah. You're the boss.
we got Jonas. We're fine.
So Jonas puts on the scuba gear, goes out into the water, but not before having another intimate moment with Su-Yin. This is more of like a jokey moment where she
Yeah.
goes like, "I'm gonna care this much if you
Oh,
die."
such a good thing.
It was so good.
I love them.
And then so he goes out. This is when he goes and we end on the shot of him overhead swimming, saying, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming."
I like that.
He gets out there.
I'm so scared.
And I lost my shit because he's in the middle of the ocean and he just keeps looking. He can't see the shark. All of a sudden, he goes
Yeah.
under for like the
feel it.
fifth
His
time.
shoulders up.
Yeah. And you
Tense.
see the shark go by. So he ends up getting it. He poisons it. He shoots the
No,
dart
that
into
was
its
just the
mouth.
locator.
Yeah,
though.
just
Yeah.
the tracker.
That wasn't the poison.
Poison
That
was
wasn't
the
the
tracker.
poison?
That
Poison was
happens
for
a
the
little bit.
second
the poison
motherfucker.
was okay. So this is the tracker.
Mm-hmm.
They put the tracker in, and then Mr. Genius on the fishing boat just says reel him in, and they reel him in. The vibration caused the shark to attack.
Yep.
Yep.
And more stupid is they sit there and wait for the realization that the shark is actually attacking super
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, yeah, pull him in again now. 'Cause they stopped pulling him in
Right.
Yeah.
for the vibrations. And then all of a sudden,
He was already after him, so they're like,
Yeah,
just
that was
fucking
horrible.
reel him in.
so they pull him back super
was
fast.
Stressful.
He magically flies onto the boat, unharmed.
Yeah.
That
Which-
was pretty graceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super graceful. And the shark didn't dive out of the water, notice?
Right. I was
Whatever.
waiting for that because they kept showing the shot of him on the edge of the platform from above. So, like, you could see the water. I was like, they're
Yeah.
totally setting this up to have the shark
Yeah,
just,
I
like,
thought that was
come
gonna
back
happen,
and
too. Yeah.
just...
That's the
But
smaller
they-
Meg.
they
He didn't-
used
he didn't
that
got the
later.
ups.
Well, yeah. But we didn't know that there was another Meg.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that time.
They saved that shot for the bigger Meg. They're like, you know what'll blow him away? This shit. They were like, let's get him jumping out of the water. Because that's when I was like, wait, there's two? Yeah.
So
that was great.
So they GPS track that shit, and then they send Su-Yin sends herself into the plastic shark cage.
That's the
which-
second one.
No.
No, that's
That was the first
right.
one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck. See, I hate that there's two. Yeah, no, you're right.
2 shark cages.
No,
No,
there
it's
was
two
two
sharks.
sharks.
Oh yeah, that's the first shark.
Because it was like, I don't remember where
This-
the first one ends. And
This
the
is
second
this is
one
when
begins.
Su-Yin
Yeah.
goes in and shoots him with the poison.
Yeah.
And then eventually, after a really stressful scene where the shark's attacking Su-Yin in the cage, which is they prelude that with all of the smaller, like the great whites and the hammerhead sharks and the tiger shark, all swimming around the cage.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and they look so small.
She was like, just little ones. I was like,
Yeah.
bitch.
Just
Just little
just
8-foot
little
sharks.
8-foot
Little
sharks.
8-foot. Like, I like how you're cool with it, because I'm not.
And then they just vanish. and then here comes the Meg, and then obviously it comes from beneath. They need the paranoia of that
I'm
scene.
literally still feeling the tingles. Just like replaying the scenes. I'm sorry.
I was worried thinking she was going to get
Major
stabbed
phobias.
with the poison dart the whole time because I've seen that in a film before.
Oh,
Yeah, I was imagining so many bad things. Like, that's still another thing that, like, I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen. She's gonna get eaten. And, like, even though she wasn't, I'm not necessarily mad about it. Like, I feel like other films set me up to think these were gonna go so many different ways. And then when it didn't, I was like, all right.
How many of you guys, when Jax was explaining to Jason Statham how much pressure the shark tank could withstand, thought this was foreshadowing
like,
to,
break.
oh, guess
shattering.
what? It's gonna fucking break.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Because she was just like, that's not gonna break. And even when she was under there getting attacked, she's like, it's not gonna break. And I'm like, fucking Ruby
It's
Rose,
gonna
if you
break.
let me down. And she didn't let her down.
Nope.
Didn't
she
break.
I liked his dialogue too here, like just I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Fuck it.
Because
It's
like
a
he doesn't have
plastic
anything to
cage.
say,
Yeah.
but like he knows they're not dealing with a shark. that
Yeah,
they
it's not
could
a
break.
regular shark.
Yeah,
It's the highest bite force of anything that ever lived.
yeah.
And she was like, it ain't gonna break. And it didn't. But I like how, like, she sounded a little calm, but I think it was because it was through, like, her mask. But she was like, I'm being swallowed. And I was like,
Yeah. That's the
like,
problem.
you sound a little bit more calm than I feel like you would if you were being
That's the
swallowed.
problem. It's being swallowed.
Yeah. She was so calm about it. I was like, all right, yeah. I feel like you kind of have to be because that's the whole thing. They're like, they react on, like, being frantic. And she's done hundreds of shark dives before. So I was like, she hella calm for this. And I'm like, halfway down the throat, she's like, being swallowed.
And then the fucking crane fucking breaks off. And I lost my shit because that crane looked industrial as fuck. That
It's a
looked,
megalodon.
that crane,
Obviously, it can pull
Yeah.
that was the
anything.
nicest crane I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Just destroyed in seconds.
Oh, the stories this crane tells. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, obviously.
I know you do.
Obviously.
The transatlantic highway guy. I'm Tom Segura. Yeah. Oh, the story this road tells.
Super dad boner.
Yeah. Anyway.
So the crane breaks off. Jason Statham or someone nearly gets knocked out with the crane.
Jax gets knocked in twice, which bothered me. I was like, knock someone else in.
Oh,
Why did
she got knocked
Stop picking
in
on her.
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, ribs shattered. Like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
and she
she'd
got
be
back
fucked.
on and was like, thanks, because Dwight was like, let's get on this shit. Dwight's the one who helped her up, right? I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, she
Yes,
thank
yeah.
you. That's what
And then
made-
she got knocked in again. I was like, dude. Too many times.
That made me really happy though. That Dwight's character, what the hell is his name? Morris.
Morris.
It made me really happy that
Dwight's
Morris.
That's not even his name. Sorry.
He acted like a real human.
Right, like he was actually like a genuinely helpful and compassionate human being.
Yeah.
Until
For
he
a
was
minute.
behind the back, which is like how people are. People are two-faced,
Mm-hmm.
Which I liked a lot. I was gonna say we did forget a classic line though when Rainn Wilson says the line, "Sorry, my body made me respond to that."
Yeah.
What
Why
was
was,
the?
what was the context of that?
No, I think because he was like, I can't swim or something.
Oh, yeah.
And because they were trying to see who would go in, and he just like freaked out. Was like, I can't swim. Yeah.
That was great.
He's out of the running.
Sorry, my body made me respond to that. Nobody laughed, which was the best part.
Nobody laughed.
It was
They're
the
all
best
just
part.
staring
I
him down.
chuckled. I was like,
Yeah.
same, because I would react the exact same way.
So that was a little bit further back, but we're at so they end up, the crane ends up coming out, the shark ends up finally just succumbing to the poison.
Yeah.
And passes out or whatever,
Ian
dies.
does
It dies.
It's dead.
Yeah,
it's dead.
it's dead.
We cut to afterwards where the shark's on the boat. It's caught. Everybody's happy. We hear some positive music.
Yeah.
The wall is joking about getting a picture in the shark's mouth, which we both thought his head was going to be
I
taken
was
off.
having
Yeah.
the
I
biggest
was like, I
panic
thought
attack.
the whole time I was like, it's not dead. So
Yeah.
it's clearly
That's
not
what I
dead.
was
That's
thinking
what I
too.
thought too.
And
Because it was too early in the movie for it to be dead.
Yeah.
They kept setting it
Yeah.
up like every shot. It was like, oh, it's gonna come back and he's gonna fall off. Or
The
this is gonna
only
I was
now
freaking
that I'm
out.
thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, there was two because I forget who said it, but they were like, look at its teeth. It's
Right
not the same
before.
as
Yeah,
the other
I
one.
said-
And I was like, oh, now that I'm thinking
said
about it, I'm
that
like,
in
shit.
the theater too. I was like, its teeth are way too small.
Yeah, and it
be
had.
the
I
one
feel
that
like the
did that.
rows of it were not the same.
weren't
I
the
was
same
like,
shape.
This isn't the
I
same.
like the way they
shark.
did it too, though, because they layered that in the same scene. They had that small scene with Zhang, or no, it was Mac and Jason Statham talking about the bite radius, and you could just see like him. He says that. Do you remember the bite radius, the other shark? And you just see him confused look. He just walks off screen. This scene is still like a good 5-7 minutes of just like celebrating, and then like we come back to DJ plays a trick on the wall and makes the shark's head drop a little bit,
Yeah.
so the wall falls in.
Yep.
So everybody's like really laughing and everything, and all of a sudden shark number 2, the big Meg, comes up like, and it was like a huge like the score, like the music was like super like, it was like almost like the Matrix, you know, the Matrix soundtrack, like the whenever like the Smiths are around, like the almost like the train sound that you hear in the score. It was like that like pause where like it was slow-mo and like time stopped, and then you see Wall gets eaten very discreetly, and the other shark gets bitten, and everybody's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one's way bigger.
Yeah. This is way bigger than the last megalodon.
Immediately makes a beeline for the largest beach in the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then they get a save. So this is my favorite part of the movie, and I loved every part of this movie, but at this point in the movie, in the theater, because this is like a 2-hour movie,
Yeah.
in the theater, I was like, okay, this is where it should end. That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, the way the movie was structured, the length of the movie, after the shark came with the Meg up, I was like, this is where the movie feels like it really should end in terms of how long a movie should be.
Yep.
And then they saved me by throwing like really deep Jaws references.
Yeah.
From
like
the beach scenes.
in the beach scenes.
Yeah.
So
I loved the
really
fucking little
reminded
kid
me
with
of
his
it.
popsicle.
the little so
was like
that
shot for shot.
that
Yeah.
was shot for shot.
Yeah.
The
It
mother,
was so great.
except they were Asian.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
She's like, can't go in.
And
It's like,
way
make
more
sure you
people.
stay not where it's deep.
And Pippin,
You Pippin!
Pippin, the
that
dog.
was the saddest part when Pippin got swallowed. But
No.
Yeah.
it was okay.
No.
No.
Did he?
She
No.
thinks he got swallowed and was spit
And then
out.
was
I
regurgitated?
think he was never
No,
swallowed.
I don't.
I don't think
so.
he
It
was
would've
ever
drowned.
swallowed.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
would
He
have
drowned in the
drowned.
stomach.
They returned him.
Wow.
So it was like, hey,
He was just like swimming though. Like that dog
Yeah,
was
he
his
like,
little like
swimming in.
cry
He
when
would've
he
been
turned
dead.
around,
The
all
little
in my
furry
head, and he was
legs.
just like, nope.
Yeah.
That was the
Little
best.
bow just bobs over to the
Even
side.
Pippin was great. The fucking dog was there for 2 seconds. That nope turnaround, I was like, yeah,
Where's
So
our dog?
relatable.
For those of you who do not know, so Jaws, 1978 Jaws, the original Jaws that started all of like the craze of people not
Pippin the
wanting to
dog.
go in the water because of sharks.
Oh, it's a she. Excuse me.
Oh.
In Jaws, the dog that one of the kids had that went missing in the film name was Pippin. And they brought it back in the Meg by making a dog on a wedding cruise that the bride owned. Name was Pippin, and it escaped from the wedding cruise ship or whatever. And she's calling Pippin, just like in Jaws when the little boy is calling out for his dog Pippin.
Yeah.
I actually didn't get that connection, so that makes me like it even more.
It
Yeah,
was
no, that whole
awesome.
section, I was like, wow, I love Jaws.
And like I was saying, like the shot for shot with the mother and the little Asian boy.
He was the best.
It was all shot for shot from Jaws. It was great. The only thing I wish they had that they didn't call back from Jaws is like my favorite shot in the movie is always the dolly zoom on Chief Brody.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he first notices the
Yep.
shark on the beach.
Always has a cigarette in his mouth too.
Yeah. And you see like the shape of the shot change. It's nuts. Just a really paranoid looking shot.
I'm not seeing it, but I trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie. But so we see the shark on this beach at this point. I forget where the beach was. It was.
I think it was somewhere in the South China Sea.
Yeah.
It was one of the most heavily populated beaches.
Yeah.
Singapore?
I can't. No, it was still in.
It was in the South China Sea
Yeah.
It
somewhere.
was a really nice
'Cause
beach.
it's pretty close to where
It was
they
an
were.
ass.
The largest beach in the world.
Yeah.
Put it
Largest
that
beach
way.
in the world.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
my
what they say.
geography very
So
well.
so this beach is super populated, and there's these like people on tons and tons of floating different like I don't know, pull toys,
Little
Yeah.
tubies.
little tubes and stuff like that.
Fucking stress me out. There's too many
rafts.
bodies. Like, I hate
That's
the
a
ocean
lot.
anyway, but that's too many humans in
There's
like
a
one
lot.
area.
Way
and
too
I'm
many.
like,
You can't even
ugh.
swim.
Those square blocks people standing on. There's a scene where a bunch of guys get up on top of the board and they look out and you think they're looking at sharks,
Hey,
and then they cut
ladies.
to a shot of just like a bunch of like girls
Yeah.
in their bikinis.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I'm like, okay.
It was just like a super cool like shot.
Mm.
And when we see some like even some like weirder like some people in these ball
In the
things.
balls.
Yeah, those were
Water.
so cool.
No.
That was cool. Yeah. I don't know if I would do that though.
No.
Too
Hell
claustrophobic.
no.
Would the 3D for that part? I'll wait. No, I'll wait till we get to it.
Oh,
Obviously, the
remember.
Meg shows up. Like when the ball popped, I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like that was probably one of the only times I like jumped at this thing. But yeah, no, that was kind of like the cheesy 3D thing because when it popped, they made part of it like
It
come
was
out
so
at you.
simple.
And it's like,
It was
oh no, yeah,
simple.
I'm not like everybody needs one, but like
Yeah.
that's what scared me in this was the pop of the ball, not anything else, which is awesome for what I thought was gonna be. It wasn't. Yeah.
So we see what I thought was cool is like the transition from like they didn't keep like the ocean is not just the ocean. You know what I mean? Like
What?
Like, well, do you know how like
Sure.
like when they go to this tropical beach underwater, the plant life, the wildlife,
Oh, the ocean is not just
it
the
matches
water.
the location.
Oh, right, right.
Like, it's incredibly stupid when you see films that have the ocean in it that think that the ocean is just the ocean environment. It's not. It's like you have all these different ecosystems underneath the ocean. And it was a plus to me, like brownie points to me, that when we get to this new tropical location, that the CG plant life and the wildlife underneath the ocean matched.
Yeah.
Right.
I like
I get
how
what you're saying,
They
yeah.
they paid attention to detail with it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Not only was it intelligent, it kept things fresh and new. So it's like we're not going from ocean scene to ocean scene. So like this 2-hour movie felt like it felt like an hour and a half. Like it felt like the movie was well structured, even though it was kind of on the long side. Which now movies are coming out are it's a norm for them to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
And half the time, for example, I'll name Red Sparrow. They're too long. They're just too long.
Slender Man.
Slenderman. Well,
Can't even
Slenderman was an
That's a whole
hour and
nother
37 minutes, I think.
Too long.
But
Check
it
out
was
that
all
video.
shit.
too long.
So that's another story.
It
Um,
was all very stupid.
another thing I liked underwater is so the megalodon comes in, he starts eating people.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that the detail that like when the shark was coming towards us, one shot, you saw how fucking big the shark was.
Oh, yeah.
But how you could tell was if you looked at the row of teeth, all the colors of all the tubes from all the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Yeah.
definitely missed
people. It made it seem so much of a bigger shark.
I got stressed when like the chains from the like docks like got
stuck
on his
on the
fins,
fin.
and I'm like, ooh, like I don't know what I do because I don't want to jump in there, but like a shark is literally moving me, so it's like,
I'll let him move me.
is this?
Yeah.
I'll let him move me.
You have
Oh,
no
he moved
choice.
me, right?
Oh, yeah.
In the theater.
'Cause I'm, like,
He's
doing-
crying.
That whole part, like I knew the second it's like going to the most populated beach like in this area. I was like, stress level at 5,000 right now.
And that's just the beach, let alone the ocean and the shark.
Right.
Just the people.
So many people.
Yeah.
And calling back the scene with the guys coming up on the wooden block looking at the girls. I liked when they were like, "Hey girls, come over here," and then they literally did.
Yeah.
Because the shark made them.
Pulled them
fucking
over.
great. Just flying all over the place.
Yeah.
So then Jason Statham goes in the water, and it's time to kill the shark. So they're like, all right. They're like, and like, I don't mean to. It was a well put together movie, but at this point, like, both filmmakers and viewers were probably like, all right, like, fuck it, give me some Statham. So
Give me some.
Yeah, this ending got a little bit more dramatic.
Unleash him.
Fucking Dwight Schrute. This is where he showed his dick side, which
Oh,
I
no.
thought was gonna
yeah.
go a lot worse than it did, because his plan I thought was gonna be not to like blow up the shark. I thought it was gonna be to blow up everyone else, because when they were like, he didn't, because in this part he's like shutting this shit down, like, we're going home, someone's coming for you in the morning, all that stuff. And then when the morning came, they were like, no one called, da 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 da. But like during that night, they just like make like a word, I'm gonna blow it up type thing. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna kill everybody on that thing. And then it was like, nah, they're gonna kill the shark. And
right.
they didn't.
There's also like one line we missed that was actually really powerful that gave a couple of us on the show a kind of like a mixed feeling, kind of like a almost like our spirit dropped a little bit. Was when Zhang delivers the line. It's a sad line about basically how this is what people always do. They find something and then they destroy it.
They discover something and they destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like a bittersweet line.
Yeah, because it's super legit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
The feels.
you can destroy a Meg. I'm not gonna fight you on that one, but like,
Yeah.
we discover something and then we're like, we must contain it, and then when everyone else wants it, we're like, nope,
Yeah.
destroy that shit, and that sucks.
Yeah.
This is so much more emotional of a movie now that I'm like talking about it. Like, I liked it, but now like talking about it, I like it even more.
So where we leave off is so the shark is eating all the people. Jason Statham goes in and Jason Statham literally takes a spear, puts it through the eye of the shark, and then
done.
as the shark jumps out of the water, probably like stories and stories of building
Free
high,
Willy style.
he slams it into the eye and the shark's dead.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then we find out
Wait.
No.
No.
Remember, he takes the glider
He
fucks up on the
carves
rock.
his whole stomach.
Oh,
open.
right,
and
that's
then he
prior to
like
that.
turns it and
That's-
slices that, and then all the other sharks eat it to death.
That happens after Dwight Schrute dies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
It
kind of
does.
jumping around.
We're jumping around a little bit. This part is
He
a little
blew
bit
up
choppy.
a whale excessively, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
He thought he found the Meg, Dwight. He thought he found the Meg, and they were like, drop the bombs. And they blew up this whale, and then he was like, drop another one. And then they got closer and was like I don't know what they said to make it. They were like, oh, this isn't it. And they were like,
He
well,
said
this is...
he
No,
said
he
grabbed
wanted a
one of his
tooth.
teeth as a trophy.
Oh, yeah. They were like, he doesn't have any teeth. And they were like, I think this is a whale.
Yeah,
And
but-
all of a sudden... And then the Meg came up and, like, bit
Dead.
the whale, and he like it was next to him because he's all clinging onto the body, which I thought was cool. Like
Yeah.
the whole prop body they made was super detailed. So like
gross.
I'll give it
CG
to
wasn't
them.
bad. It was super gross and it worked.
Yeah,
You know.
and then
Works better when it's nighttime.
it like clung.
true.
Yeah, they can get away with so much shit when it's all dark.
Tell me you didn't laugh out loud when he was like, I think we killed a whale.
Of course I did. It's so stupid.
Because he said it in like a stupid voice.
Yeah,
too.
he
It's
said
like,
it
sounds-
super derpy. I'm like,
Yeah.
Did you kill the whale?
This is great. So Dwight Schrute dies.
Yeah, he gets nibbled on.
Probably Jim's
dead.
fault.
He thought he wasn't because it bit next to him. He was like, ha ha! And then was like,
then
just
I was
kidding. I
like,
came
nah.
back for seconds.
And it like left his fingers like outside of the teeth. And that like really bothered
Yeah.
me because it like devoured his whole body. And then you just
Except
see
the
his
little
fingers.
fingers.
Like,
Yeah.
moving.
Twitching. Yeah.
Anyway.
At some point in here, as everything is back and forth a little bit, and I apologize, but at some point in here, the boat ends up getting flipped over, and we have a lot of fun scenes with DJ being terrified of the ocean.
Being terrified of everything.
Specifically, there's a really fun scene with DJ, Mei Ying, and the mother, Su Yin, when DJ and Mei Ying are in the water and they're knocked into the water. DJ can't swim, and Mei Ying is literally telling him like shut up.
Yeah, he's like, she's literally in the comment, you're wearing a life jacket.
Yeah.
Was she wearing one? Because like in like one scene, the next scene, she wasn't wearing.
No,
I think
he
she was good. She's got that shit unlocked.
Yeah,
She
she's
was
like,
swimming.
you're wearing a life
And
jacket.
she was like, stop talking.
Yeah.
Like, this girl is
She was
awesome.
such a genuine like child. I mean, she's a child, but like her character was so like, yeah, look,
It
like,
was awesome.
you're wearing a life jacket. My favorite thing was, this is in the beginning, when she was talking about her dad and how her mom left him because he's an a-hole, and I was like, oh, and that's when she's like, kids hear everythlike, I was like, oh my god, I love her.
That's great.
But yeah.
I like also when the mother comes up in the glider and she's like obviously super like, are you okay? Are you okay? For the daughter, and then we pan over and we see Deji. It's like, like, I'm good. Save me,
good.
get me out of the water. So we end up Shark's dead at this point. Zhang ends up passing away. It's super sad when Mei Ying has to basically be, when she's so excited to come back to the mother. This may be a little bit earlier.
It was.
Yeah, it's way earlier.
So when she's so excited to come back to the mother, that she's back, everybody's safe, the mother silently leads her away. And I was like, the first time I saw the movie, I was thinking, I was like, why? I don't understand why she's leading her away. And then I realized, the father's dead, the grandfather's dead.
Yeah. I liked that was kind of a side conversation because, like, you
Right.
knew it happened. Like, it didn't need to be
You
this
didn't
whole
have to hear
dramatic,
them.
like, grandfather died. Like, it's just kind of just, like, you knew that's what she was saying. And then you saw, like, her reaction. And she, like, looked to Jonas like, you didn't bring him back, dude? Like, the fuck? But she still wasn't like, I hate you for it. Like, I feel like with that whole scene, like, you saw that she was, like, disappointed because it's like, oh, why didn't you bring him back, too? Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, she didn't say any lines, and I still was like, oh shit, she upset.
So when I really liked when Zhang was dying. This was really I didn't like when he was dying, but when he was dying, it was really well written. The scene between him and his daughter.
Yeah.
When he was telling her that you already are. You've already passed me.
Yeah, you're
I'm
better than
hoping
me.
that Mei Ying grows up to be just like you, and I fucking cried. I almost cried right now.
Yeah, no. I feel like her as a
Very
crier
emotional.
too. Like
Very sensitive.
Su Yin, like what's her name? Bing Bing. She is an actress.
Bing Lee.
She as an actress, I feel like most people when they do like crying scenes, they're like the beautiful crying scenes where like a single tear and it's like everything's pretty. And she was like ugly face crying. Like
Yeah.
to the point that I was like, oh my god, like I feel her like so much pain
It should
right
be
now.
like that. It's real.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's
We don't live in the
she
60s
She
anymore.
was great. She
Like-
was so good.
You can't feed us fucking Mamma Mia, for example.
Not everything's like a beauty shot with
Yeah,
one
like-
dramatic tear. Like she was red faced, like
Like life's real.
Screenshot.
I
People
was
are
just
real.
gonna say I can't wait for that meme.
Yeah,
Um,
that was. Oh, this was so much more emotional than like I left the theater. I was like, that was great. But now that I'm talking, like there was so much.
In the very
See
end,
this movie,
Sam,
guys.
do you like? The
No, I
knife?
hated it.
in the very end, when we when Jason Statham is talking with, I was like, oh, don't get back with your ex. Don't get back
Oh,
with your
yeah.
ex. And
For whatever
then-
reason, I didn't think that like at all.
Yeah.
No, I didn't really think.
Like
that.
when
I
they
didn't think
when,
it was an option.
Only when she
Yeah.
came back into the picture after being gone so long did I think maybe that this would rekindle. But at the same, because I was pushing for the relationship with Su Yin the whole movie. So like I feel like they knew that when they put us in that scene with them playing cards.
Yeah.
I feel like they knew this.
Part of me was like, ooh, what's this happening? But at the same time, it's like I like how mature adults this is. Like, I feel like I've been programmed to think, like, that's the ex-wife, it's gonna cause some weird stuff. Yeah. But, like, this whole time, like, I'm pretty sure she knew that Mei-Ying was like, you know, he likes my mom, and she's like, that's cool.
Right.
Like, there's just so
she was
maturely...
like pushing for it. She said, Mac said you and like,
and I was like, I like that approach to it. And it's not like this catty, like, he's mine type shit, or like, remember when we were like that? She was like, nah, go for it. Like, he's whatever, but if you can handle it, go for it. I was like, all right, you got shanked with a screwdriver, and you're cool with your ex-husband dating this other woman. You're gonna play cards with her wife.
Yeah.
I mean, with her child.
So at the end of this movie, they get together. The creepiest thing in this movie is actually Jason Statham raising his eyebrows in response to the little girl doing it earlier in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was fucking creepy.
When she's like, should we go on vacation? It's like, should we ask Mom?
Taking Mom on vacation.
Because he has creepy eyebrows. That's why he's an action star.
Yeah. He's just like super like angry face. Like that's just how his brows are. So when you just like, it's like, oh shit.
Seriously. Like,
I did not feel anything towards his eyebrows.
He just has such like a.
Next time you watch it,
pay attention to the eyebrows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll buy
watch
this again.
The face.
So I'm gonna end this. We're going a little long here. I'm gonna get final thoughts from you guys. Rob, what do you think? And give me your number grade.
I like the movie overall. I kind of wish it was more shark killing people. Just because.
Yeah.
Not the people that we all liked, but on the beach, just there's too many of them. Just
actually showing the destructive nature.
Yeah, that'd be all right. But I like the movie. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Probably get around, a solid 8.
Cool. I loved this movie. Maybe not as much as Sam, but I definitely loved it. And for me, it was like super surprising because, like I said, I was not interested in seeing this whatsoever. Like, huge phobia of the ocean. And I think the characters were built and written so well that any fear I may have had in the moments where the Meg was on screen, it was okay. Because the storyline, I was just like completely captivated by all of the relationships between the characters. So I give it an 8.5.
Cool. So I just like you said, I thought the character development in this movie was the best in any movie I've seen all year. Not saying it's the best movie this year for character development, but it's the best I've seen all year, and I've seen 70s or so movies so far. So it's a bit.
Quite a few.
Like take notes. Like this is definitely a fun action flick, but seriously, you really got to take notes if you're a filmmaker. This is how you develop characters. Every single character on this cast was completely well fleshed out. Yeah. Even Jason Statham, completely fleshed out characters who we all cared about. There was no character I hated. Even the bad guy wasn't what we would call a bad guy.
He was a villain.
Right. And just with the character development, the acting was absolutely fantastic. Jason Statham did a good job. He's kind of the action star from the group. I don't mean to say he's a worse actor or anything like that, but like he was built. He performed well. He was in his role well. The little girl in this movie was absolutely incredible. Everybody on this cast seemed authentic, and honestly, like, not just because they brought back actual literal references to Jaws, I still felt like I had a very real Jaws feel for me for the characters. Like, every character in Jaws, when you go back, like Chief Brody, Hooper, Quint, all the main characters in Jaws, you really, like, you get to know and you really feel for, and you know their personalities. This was so good, and it's such a good movie in that right. The CGI wasn't that bad. I don't like CGI generally. Wasn't bad. The cinematography was fantastic. For anything with CGI, cinematography is much more impressive whenever they can pull stuff off like this. It's a lot of shooting green screen and blue screen, and which is called shooting plates for action sequences. It's just it's impressive stuff. And then coming down to the plot, absolutely, I think flawless. I think the movie was structured flawlessly, and it's actually based off of a book called The Meg by Steve Alton, which I unfortunately haven't read yet, so I can't give my insight on how accurate to the book this movie was, but I'm going to read it soon. I gave this movie a 9 out of 10, and the reason why is because I've seen a shitload of movies this year, but there have been so little movies that had every single character well fleshed out that I did not feel like I was being captive in the theater for too long. I left the theater saying I would not mind seeing this again in theaters, not just because I have Movie Pass. Actually, fuck Movie Pass. I'm sorry.
Pass.
AMC A-list.
A-list.
Movie Pass
A-list,
is
bitches.
fuck you, Movie Pass. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Sam?
I hated it. No, just kidding. So very clearly, I liked it. I think the problems I did have with it are just my own programming from other films where I, in a way, was like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. Like, this is going to be a petty this, she's going to bleed out that, this one's going to get eaten here. And then when it wasn't, I was like, all right. Totally not angry about it because everyone was so good in their parts that I was like, I don't want anyone to die. And those that did, I was like actually like feeling for. I was like their deaths were like done well, as depressing as that. Like, it's not like it was just 5 people who were important just got eaten all at once. Like,
no deaths were for CGI or for the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. So I think besides, like, that was probably the only problem I had with it, that I thought things were going to go one way and they didn't, but that's not a bad thing at all. I wasn't expecting it to be as comical as it was, which was also a pleasant surprise since I was anxious going into it. I think that made it so much better. So if you have a fear of the ocean, don't fear this shit, because it really wasn't that bad. So yeah, I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in to the Brutally Honest Network for Brutally Honest Reviews. It's been fun. Rob, do you have anything to plug?
Just like, subscribe, and rate the podcast on YouTube and iTunes.
Yeah.
Taylor?
Cool. If you're looking for graphic design or photography work, you can check out my profiles TB Design on Instagram. TIIBII.
Cool. Yeah. Sam?
Same shit. If you like creepy monsters and stuff, you can look at my Instagram or Facebook at Night Terror FX. And it's a little graphic if you don't like bloody wounds, but Halloween-y time's coming up, so I'm pumping out characters.
Well, that's it for Brutally Honest Reviews. As always, tune in next time. This week we're putting out an episode on Tuesday. Well, technically next week. Next week we're putting out an episode on Tuesday. Stay tuned to Brutally Honest Reviews, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Bye.